United Health Group Incorporated, or UNH, is a big player in the healthcare industry. It's been a roller coaster ride for UNH stock lately. As of February 21, 2025, the stock is trading around $500. That's a 3% dip since the start of the year. Not exactly what investors want to see, especially compared to the S&P 500's 28% gain. But hold on, before you hit the panic button, let's rewind a bit. From 2017 to 2025, UNH stock delivered a whopping 252% return. That beats the S&P 500's 173% return over the same period. So, this recent dip might just be a blip on the radar. The stock market is a fickle beast. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. But over the long haul, quality companies tend to rise to the top, and UNH, with its strong track record and dominant position in the healthcare industry, is definitely a company to watch. Alright, let's dive into the numbers. In 2024, UNH raked in a massive $400.3 billion in revenue, an 8% jump from the previous year. That's a lot of cheddar. Earnings from operations clocked in at $32.3 billion, or $34.4 billion, if you adjust for pesky things like cyber attacks and South American market woes. Cash flow from operations was a healthy $24.2 billion. That's 1.6 times their net income. Not too shabby. UNH also knows how to keep its investors happy. They returned $16 billion to shareholders through a combination of dividends and share buybacks. Now let's talk margins. The medical care ratio, which measures the percentage of premiums paid out as medical expenses, inched up to 85.5% from 83.2% in 2023. This was mainly due to some not-so-fun stuff like CMS Medicare funding cuts and Medicaid redeterminations. On the bright side, the operating cost ratio improved to 13.2% from 14.7% in 2023. Every little bit helps, right? UNH is like a two-headed monster. In a good way, of course. It's got United Healthcare, the insurance arm, and Optum, the health services whiz. Let's break down their 2024 performances. United Healthcare pulled in a cool $298.2 billion in revenue, a 6% increase year over year. They added 2.1 million domestic customers, bringing their total to a mind-boggling 50.7 million people served. However, their operating margin took a slight hit, declining to 5.2% from 5.8% in 2023. Now let's move on to Optum. This segment is on fire, folks. Revenue soared by 12% to reach $253 billion. They added 600,000 value-based care patients to their roster and plan to bring in another 650,000 in 2025. That's a lot of patients. Unfortunately, Optum Insight, their data and analytics arm, got hit by a cyber attack that caused $867 million in business disruption. Ouch! Section 4. Profitability roadblocks, rising costs, and security threats. Listen up because this is important. UNH is facing some headwinds. Rising medical costs are putting a squeeze on their margins. Think about it. When hospitals and doctors charge more, it eats into UNH's profits. In 2024, medical costs jumped by a hefty 25%. That's a gut punch. And then there's the ever-present threat of cyber attacks. Remember that attack on Optum Insight we talked about? That cost them almost $1 billion. Cybersecurity is expensive, but it's a necessity in today's digital world. Despite these challenges, UNH is still a cash-generating machine. They're constantly innovating and looking for ways to improve efficiency. Plus, they've got a massive customer base and a strong brand. Don't count them out just yet. Section 5. The future of United Health growth potential and valuation. So, is UNH a buy or a sell? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Well, the future looks pretty bright for UNH. They're projecting revenue of $450 to $455 billion in 2025. That's a healthy increase. They're also expecting adjusted earnings per share of $29.50 to $30. Now let's talk valuation. UNH's price-to-earnings ratio is currently 18 times, which is lower than its 4-year average of 22 times. Some analysts believe this means the stock is undervalued. In fact, some experts estimate that UNH stock could be worth as much as $606 per share, a 20% upside. But remember, the stock market is a marathon, not a sprint. The recent dip in UNH stock price might scare off some short-term investors, but long-term investors see an opportunity. UNH is a well-established company with a history of growth and innovation. They're well-positioned to benefit from the aging population and the increasing demand for healthcare services.